Hey there everyone, and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. It is Monday afternoon now. It is a bank holiday, so naturally today, instead of just sitting down and reading, I have done everything but that so that I can get to this 1.5 hours before my husband gets off work to actually sit down and read. But don't worry, I've been super productive, and one of the productive things that I did was head off to Barnes & Noble so that I could pick up a copy of my audiobook for the week, which is Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli. You all saw that in the last weekly reading vlog, I read Heartless Hunter and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars and I listened to it as an audiobook, so I really wanted to just keep the congruency of the audiobook narrator to just go through this duology. So since it is Monday afternoon now, I won't actually start listening to it until tomorrow, but I am so excited for it nonetheless. Book 1's ending was so good and set up book 2 extremely well, so I can't wait to see what this one has in store for me. Also, this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and it is so pretty. I love the blue in this, and also we have a really stunning hardcover with some gold. You say that's gold? Maybe like rose gold or a little bit of orange foiling. I think it's so pretty. So we did that, updated my reading journal a little bit, and then also organized my bookshelves. And I have a very exciting acquisition that I have to show you all. I'm very excited about it, but first let's finish up the TBR because I'm going to be continuing on in The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. If you watched last week's vlog, I got about 30 pages into this, and that was really unfortunate, but 'tis life, right? So for the rest of the night tonight, I'm going to be reading this one and trying to get more into it because I just need to force myself to sit down and just enjoy this read. And that's the real crux of my issue, I think. I have just been on an audiobook kick because I have been running around the house. We, as you all know, moved back in December, so there are just things to be done. We've been painting the past couple of weekends, so having audiobooks going all the time helps me keep up with my reading goals. But if I have a physical book, I can't obviously read it. I have tapped out my audiobook resources this month. I have already used all my Spotify hours. I have already bought 2 books actually through Libro FM, so I am just kind of tapped out at this point. I would love to get The Well of Ascension as an audiobook, but also I think those audiobooks are somewhere above 20 hours long because of how long the books are, and that would just be very long. And I'm super excited for my romantasy audiobook anyway, so I'm not pressed about it, but I am going to sit down for the rest of the afternoon and try to get a bit more into The Well of Ascension. And this should be an interesting reading vlog because both of my books are sequels, so I'm not sure how much I'm going to be able to talk about them. That seems like poor planning on my part, but that just happens sometimes. Let me show you all the exciting acquisition. So I have been on Facebook Marketplace looking for a reading chair to put in this corner because our living room area, this one that I'm currently in, is massive and we just didn't have the furniture to fill it, and I don't want to spend a ton of money on it. So I was on Facebook Marketplace and look what I found yesterday. Big old comfy reading chair. I'm so excited about it. It was only $125, and the way that I've been looking at the chair and a halves, it is normally somewhere north of $500. So I was so excited about that. We went and picked it up, and obviously it looks so good over there. So now I'm going to go force myself to sit in that chair and read The Well of Ascension until my husband gets off work and we take Scooty for another walk and then have some dinner and then shower and get right back to this bad boy. Also, we have a little bit more snow this week, and you all know how much I love that, so very much looking forward to it. And other than that, we don't really have any plans this week. I feel like I've said that a lot lately, but it's just true. Q1 is very quiet for us, thankfully, because we've been doing a lot around the house with it. But I am just stoked to be able to have this downtime to read before we get into summer and our plans pick up. So I'm going to stop procrastinating by talking to you all and go actually sit down and read. Alrighty everyone, let's do our first reading update. Also, super sorry if this is really bright. I feel like the white is just really bringing out my paleness right now, and it's really rude. But I finally hit the 100-page mark of The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I feel like I have been reading this for so long now, and I have barely made even a dent in it because it takes a lot of mental energy to read. Like I said before, there's so many words on a page that you are just reading it forever. But regardless of that, we've definitely had some developments go on in here. The end of part one was kind of interesting because maybe now there is an infiltrator in the system. So that's obviously a problem. War is upon us, as there is always within these books. And the crew is getting back together. I said it, I think, when I was reading Mistborn, but I love the banter between Breeze and Ham, two of the members of the inner circle in here, so much. It's so funny. They are just two very different types of people, and when they get into it, it's just so funny. But you can tell that they really love one another, or at least like each other enough to have them around. So it is very fun. Also, my girl Vin is really coming into herself in this book. She is just really enjoying all of the qualities that she had been taught by Kelsier in the previous book, and also just learning more on her own, still training with the others. And I think that the scenes where we get to see her like flying through the air using her allomancy, it's all so interesting. It's just really, really vivid in your mind. So I'm definitely excited to see where this one is going. I'm not super sure. It feels like we're always on the brink of some type of social collapse, or somebody taking over or just someone taking over. So it'll be interesting to see how this develops. And this morning I did indeed start listening to Rebel Wish by Kristen Cicerelli. It is release day, so happy release day to everyone who is celebrating. I was so excited at like 12:08 a.m. the audiobook came in, and I was just so jazzed to cue it up on my ride into work this morning. Just very happy to be back with these characters in this world. And again, since these are sequels, I can't speak that much about them, but this book picks up about 2 months after the end of Heartless Hunter. So a few things have happened since then, and we are kind of seeing where our characters are at now. And this is dual POV, so we have Rune, our main female character, and Gideon, our main male character. And Rune was very good at being deceitful. She was very good at getting the information that she wanted and doing it by whatever means necessary. She is very good in that way in book one, but in book two, because of the events that had happened at the end of Heartless Hunter, you can kind of see that facade cracking a bit more and how much more of a toll it's taking on her in this book. And I love that personally. I feel like that's definitely character development for her. And I'm intrigued to see where she's going, because obviously the whole premise of book one is that she is the Crimson Moth who is saving all of these different witches who are being just hunted down and taken out by the current Republic. And so in this book, we are seeing how she is kind of combating her feelings with the people who literally want to unalive her, versus the reign of queens, who she learned in book one was not the best reign, and everything was not as happy-go-lucky as she once thought it was when the witches were in power. So I think there's going to be a lot going on here. The tension is already so good. We are already getting a little bit more of the push and pull, and obviously very deadly situations. So I'm intrigued to see where this one is going. I think it's going to be so good. I love the audiobook and would highly recommend it. I typically don't listen to fantasy audiobooks because I think that the world building is going to be too much, or I just won't be able to keep everything straight. But this is not one of those books. The world building is not that crazy. So trust me when I say that if you can listen to a romance book, you can probably listen to this. But those are my reading updates. I did some walking and reading after work today. Me and my friends are starting 75 Soft on Sunday, and that requires 10,000 steps. And since I only did a 45-minute like strength workout this morning, I had, I think, 4,000 steps for the whole day. So I was just kind of limping along there at the end because I had been walking for so long, but the steps got done. And I've been given the permission to work from home for the next 2 days because of the snowstorm tomorrow, so I am a very happy camper. I think those are all of my updates for now, so I am going to go shower and continue on with my night so that I can get back into the Well of Ascension and try to get a couple more pages read before bed. I'm sure it'll be like 10 and I'll be like, go Brooke, you know? But let's go do that, and I will see you all tomorrow with hopefully a snow update. Happy Thursday, everyone. I am freezing cold. It started snowing on Wednesday and it went all day. It was so pretty and it's really fluffy snow, so it's just stuck around. So I haven't been into the office Wednesday or Thursday this week, which has been so nice. So I've had some really nice work from home days, just enjoyed not having to commute, but also that means that I haven't been listening to my audiobook, which is Rebel Witch, which is kind of a downer because I am really excited for it, but I think I'll be listening to it a bit more this weekend. What I have been cranking out though is The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I just got to part 3 and I am almost at the halfway point. I think I'm like 30 pages off from page 300. It's exactly 600 pages. So I am doing my darndest to get through this book. Honestly, it feels like such a marathon because of how many words are on each page. Like I could read for 4 hours straight and maybe read 100 pages. It's that intense. And honestly, right now, I don't know what is going on, but I might be having a little bit of a Minty Bee moment, and I just want to read, I don't know, maybe like a thriller or a romantasy, but the high politics of this, the magic system, just everything that's going on. I mean, currently, we have a bit of a war going on. I think that's just a common theme throughout all of the books, so I am not sure that that's a spoiler, but it is just a time of war, so obviously everything is dangerous and tensions are elevated, so it feels just much more serious than what I would like at this moment. But it doesn't mean that it isn't good. I love these characters and the way that they're able to draw some comedic relief out of the intense situations that they're in. Breeze and Ham have the best banter, and they are just two guys that just riff off of one another. I think that they are so much fun to be around. I think I mentioned earlier how Vin is really coming into herself and her abilities in this book, but something that she wasn't prepared for is the spotlight that she's in, basically. And it's really hard watching her have to figure out who she is because while we, the reader, feel like she has grown so much since book 1, Vin herself doesn't necessarily see it like that and is still questioning her place within the ranks of the current kingdom. So I'm really interested to see how this one is going to play out. I feel like book 1 had a really nice wrap up. So I am curious if this one will be the same. I know that the Hero of Ages, which is book 3, and Mistborn era one is absolutely devastating. So I'm curious if this will be like a huge cliffhanger and I'll be wanting to just jump right into the next book. But yeah, slowly but surely making my way through this. I do think I'll be able to finish it by the end of this vlog. I just told Dylan that you all know we have been painting the past couple of weekends and it is great. It's very productive. I'm able to listen to my audiobooks, whatever. But I have not sat down and just read for an hour on the weekend in a while. And it is already cold outside. I am just experiencing a bit of seasonal depression. So this weekend I said we could paint our one small downstairs bathroom and call it a day and just take some time to do something that we both just want to do on our own, not necessarily for this house. So that's that, but when we are painting, I will definitely be catching up on the Rebel Witch. Like I said, I'm really enjoying that already. I feel like we just jump right into the action and I'm so excited to see where it goes. A lot of my mutuals on Goodreads are reading it right now and they are posting quotes and I'm just so excited to get to that point in the book. What I'm actually gonna do is go take a shower. I saw a really funny TikTok today where somebody was like, I just wanna feel warm, and it was them in the shower, and I feel like that's the only time in the winter where I feel warm. So I'm gonna do that, snuggle up, and get back into the Well of Ascension and hopefully make it to the halfway point tonight. Okay, everyone, it is Sunday morning now, and I did not do any reading yesterday. We were so busy. We painted our downstairs bathroom, and then we met our friends for a happy hour. So there was just absolutely no time yesterday, which is so sad. It's the second day of 2025 that I didn't read, and it broke my Fable streak. If you know, you know, and I hate that for me. So it's about 9:30 now, and I am determined to get in a good chunk of reading today. So I think I'm going to alternate between 1 hour reading, sitting down, reading The Well of Ascension, and then the next hour putting on my audiobook for Rebel Witch and like moving around and doing whatever I need to do. So currently I have about 200 pages left of The Well of Ascension, and it just got so good. The end of part 3, oh my gosh, I actually wanted to cry a little bit. It was so devastating. So I am really, really looking forward to seeing how this wraps up. I feel like there are so many things in the air right now, but I think they're all about to kind of come to a head. I typically think that the last 100 pages of a fantasy book are pretty intense, but I think the last 200 pages of this one might just be insane. So I am going to prioritize spending a lot of time on this one today and hope that I can get at least most of the way through it. And then I'm only about 100 pages into the audiobook for Rebel Witch, but I am loving this. There is forced proximity so far, and like enemies who were once lovers who are enemies again. It's very, very fun and very entertaining. I love the audiobook, and they're in a forced proximity situation where they are kind of faking being married, and to avoid the police's suspicion, they have to act like they're in love. And Rune calls him Pumpkin, and you can just hear, and this is why I think audiobooks are so good sometimes, the absolute hatred, hesitancy, just absolute reluctance to call her Sugar Plum. And it was just so funny. I was giggling so much. I just did not think that Gideon would have chosen Sugar Plum as a pet name, but here we are. So those are my 2 reads. I think while I'm listening to Rebel Witch, I'm gonna make some more granola today. I thought that was really good last week. And then also update my reading journal and do a couple of like computer activities. But other than that, I am just going to lock into reading. So let's go get after it. Okay, everyone, I'm here to end off the weekly vlog, and let's do my last round of reading updates. So first, I did end up finishing The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, and I'm giving it 4.25 stars. This series is so good. It's unlike anything I've ever read before, and I truly do love it. I feel like the ending of this book, though, was just so much less satisfying than the end of Mistborn, and I just don't know. It didn't really do as much for me as I was hoping that it would, mainly because it was just a very like, where did that come from kind of ending. And so I'm hoping that in book 3 everything kind of plays out and will be even bigger of a reveal and make everything back in book 2 worth it. But regardless, I love everything about this. The magic system, the found family, the relationship dynamics. I think they are all so good. We got a lot more like politicking and war strategizing in this one as well, and so many more fight scenes. So I'm obsessed. I think this is so much fun, and I am really excited to get into book 3 in March. And then I only made it about 150 pages into Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli, and I'm still enjoying this one. I'm really here for the vibes of this book, not so much the writing or anything else, but I'm having a good, silly time with it. It's nothing like life-changing or fantastic writing, but it is fun. So I will be continuing on in this audiobook into the next weekly reading vlog. And those are all the reads that I did this week. Not really that much, which is unfortunate, but also they are some pretty chunky books, so I'll live. Let me know if you ended up reading this week and what you thought of these books if you did end up reading them, but I will see you all in the next one. Bye!